Kiedy myślimy o Paryżu, przychodzą nam do głowy te same obrazy. Wieża Eiffla, Louvre, Notre Dame. Ale dzisiaj spróbuję zobaczyć miasto inaczej. Oczami kobiet, które przez stulecia były wymazywane z tej oficjalnej historii. Chodźcie razem ze mną poznać organizację Feminists in the City, która pokazuje Paryż z perspektywy feministycznej i kobiecej.
The idea for Feminists in the City came around 8 years ago. We were two co-founders of Feminists in the City who really wanted to talk about feminism. I studied in the UK and I was chairwoman of the Feminist Society of my university. And when I came back to France, I realized how taboo the word feminism was. More in France than in the UK, I felt. So I decided to, with this co-founder, to build this project as a way to use public spaces to talk about feminism, demystify this word and explain that really feminism is about equality, this is about gender equality, and really run over all the stereotypes that are known about feminism, feminists are hysterical, this is about man-hating, this is about overruling men, matriarchy or whatever. Feminism is about equality, and this was the first intention behind Feminists in the City, remembering what feminism was all about. So the first intention really was to talk about feminism, and as we started our first tour, Street Art and Feminism, we quickly realized that it was more than just talking about feminism. It was also about putting women's history back into the spotlight and talking about women that nobody knows about. When we started the tours around 8 years ago, nobody knew about Olympe de Gouges, who is a French feminist icon. She was a feminist during the French Revolution. We owe her so much. And when we started the tours, nobody knew about her. But now people know about Olympe de Gouges, and I can sense and see that things are moving, there is more visibility for women, feminism. And I can see how the work we do is also working, so that's great. The way that we shaped the tours was that first we have a topic that is very important for us to talk about. So, example, the history of sexual liberation. Where do we find those places in Paris? What are the places that are known for that in Paris? It is going to be Pigalle, around Montmartre. So we pick the topic first and then we do some research. That's the way we have operated in the past, for instance, for the guided tour on sexual liberation. And then we do a lot of research. We work with historians as well, like Claudine Monteuil, who is our Feminist in the City godmother. So yeah, there is a lot of work behind our tours, for sure. I would say it used to be hard to find places where we could actually talk about women. Let's give the Louvre as an example. We have a feminist guided tour of the Louvre. We talk about a few women who are exposed in the Louvre, but there are so few women in the Louvre. Of course, it's hard to talk about women artists if there are no women exposed in the Louvre. So what we also do is that we're going to talk about the famous, notorious artworks made by men, but we talk about them from a feminist perspective, explaining, for instance, in some of those artworks, how rape culture was already embodied there, how colonial practices and sexism against women was already present in the work, and how those artworks are actually representing this. So this is also a critical feminist perspective that we're going to bring to the spectrum. My favorite story about Paris, women, feminism that I love to talk about in our sessions, in our tours, is about the revolutionary dance of cancan. I don't know if you've ever heard about French cancan, but this is a dance that is practiced at the Moulin Rouge, and this is known for being a dance where women are a bit in the performance of their sexual availability. It's quite sexy, but at the same time very acrobatic, and nobody knows about the fact that actually historically, it was a feminist dance. It was revolutionary. It was a way to take exception against the patriarchy. It was very liberating for women. It was the first time in the 19th century that women could actually dance alone in the dance floor. Before Cancan, they had to be led. It was a man leading the woman. It was very strict, rigid. And with Cancan, they completely freed themselves on the dance floor. It was revolutionary, feminist, subversive, And I love to talk about this story because nobody knows about it. There is a historian, her name is Eliane Viennot, and she says, women have not been invisibilized from history, they have been erased. And I think this is very important to highlight because women have been erased of history. There is no her story. We know history from the perspective of men. It was written by men, for men, and we have no trace or little trace of what was going on for women over the centuries. And it's so important to talk about women because we need role models as well. We need to know this is possible for women to achieve things. Little girls need to know that. We cannot become what we cannot see or what we don't know about. So this is really about role models as well and rebalancing the importance that we give to women in our society in the cultural realm for what we are doing.
Taki spacer pokazuje, że turystyka nie musi być powierzchowna, że miasto można czytać jak opowieść o oporze i równości i że to, kogo widzimy w przestrzeni publicznej, a kogo nie, wciąż ma ogromne znaczenie.